You might not think to look to a very Zen-focused support character for one of the nastiest damage dealers in Overwatch, but then you play Zenyatta and realize, oh man, that monk can do some damage. Hey folks, Chris Waters here with Erick to talk about Zenyatta, how to play this character, how to be on the battlefield as someone who is outwardly so peaceful, but also super destructive.
Yeah, Zenyatta is someone that, I picked up at the end of beta. Didn't think I was going to like him as much as I did, but turns out he is a DPS monster, but he also can support the team, which is like this fine balance that I've always wanted in a support character because I want to do damage as well.
And the way he does it is with his Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord. So let's talk about Harmony first. That's the most straightforward one. Basically, it's an orb you throw onto an ally, and it will constantly heal them while it just floats over them and follows them wherever they go. It heals at a pretty good rate.
It's pretty sustainable. I wouldn't say, obviously it's not going to be as strong as a Mercy heal, but it'll do the job. And you have to move that, to each of your allies because, whoever's taking damage, you're going to want to make sure you move that along because sometimes you get in the trap of DPSing too much and not healing your teammates.
You want to move that Orb of Harmony around, and fortunately, as a support, you see indicators that show you the health of your allies, so pay attention to these. The color of their silhouette when they're out of line of sight. Whenever that critical red mark comes up, you want to get that orb on them immediately. So you want to be moving this around, and the thing to remember about both Harmony and Discord, you put an orb on someone, it will stay there indefinitely as long as they are in line of sight. However, if they go around the corner from you, if you can't see them, in about 3 seconds, that orb's coming back to you, its effects are no longer affecting the target. Now, before we talk about Discord, let's talk about how Zenyatta actually does damage. He throws his orbs of destruction.
Yeah, he's got 20 of them. You can either single fire them or charge them up and shoot 5 at one time, which is great for, when you have a Widowmaker ult or something and you can kind of see someone rounding the corner. You're like, all right, I'm going to queue up and charge up all 5 balls and let them go.
And you can also use this when peeking around the edge at a turret or a Bastion, a Torbjorn thing, but you want to be really careful because Zenyatta's health is so low. Even if you get a shield buff from Symmetra and some armor from Torbjorn, you're still really squishy, and so you need to be sort of on the back line of your team's push. You don't want to be up front. You want to be able to duck behind walls and duck out of the way of line of sight, especially if you get in the sights of an enemy Widowmaker or Hanzo or similar sniper.
Yeah, his Orb of Destruction is really powerful from far away. You don't have to be close up to do the damage. You can almost snipe with them in a way, even though you're not a sniper, but that's how far you can shoot, is how I feel.
I think that's absolutely true. And here's the thing though, when you see an enemy, your first click should not be to shoot them. It should be to use the Orb of Discord. This is a little purple orb that you will come to love as Zenyatta because when it's over an enemy, the damage that everyone on your team does to them is increased substantially. You put that thing over a Roadhog or any other tank and you get a bunch of Orbs of Destruction into them, you will take them out yourself. Zenyatta is really vicious, but again, you want to throw that Orb of Discord. That's your first shot. It doesn't technically do damage, but that's going to allow your second, your third, your fourth shots to do so much more, and that is what really amplifies your role as a damaging support.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very scary thing to even have on you. And when you see Orb of Discord on you, you're like, well, I better hide or miss something because the damage is coming and it's real.
Absolutely, and if you do hide, get a couple seconds out of the way, you'll see it go away, and then you can get back into the fray. Highly recommended, and duly recommended because the Orb of Discord on you means Zenyatta can see you wherever you are. There's a big marker, so he can see you when you're about to poke around the corner and try to shoot him. He can be charging up his alternate fire and be just ready to dump 4 orbs into your face when you poke your head out, and you'll be dead.
Yeah, super deadly.
Okay, let's talk about his ult, Transcendence, and this is back on the other side, the support side, the I'm keeping everybody alive side. What he does is he sort of goes into a more Zen pose than his already Zen pose and just radiates healing all around him, and he himself is invulnerable to damage. So this is great when you are in a team fight and, maybe you've lost a character or your team health is down pretty far. When you are pushing a payload or team pushing in on an objective, you don't always want to pop that first thing. You want to let the fight develop a little bit and then pop it. That's going to extend the amount of time that your team is in the fight together, and it's going to help you get the most out of Transcendence.
Of course, you do want to be careful though. Even though you're invulnerable, it doesn't mean that people can't push you away, like a Reinhardt pinning you away or, a Pharah concussive blasting you away. So try to keep your distance from them and kind of stay near your teammates still. But yes, the enemy team has to respect Transcendence because it's a huge AoE heal that, is going to keep your team alive and they can't really hurt you to get rid of you.
They're just going to wait for that thing to end, and it doesn't last terribly long, so use it wisely and you will be well on your way to being the best Zenyatta you can be.